Hi, it's Victor here from Trend Following Trading for Beginners. And in today's episode, I want to talk about part one of trading rule number 4, which is having the correct attitude and mindset for trading. Coming up next. Hi, it's Victor here. Today's episode basically is surrounding trading rule number 4 about attitude and mindset for trading. But I've got about 20 items so far, and so I'm going to split it into two parts. So this episode is basically part 1. So today I'm going to talk about 10 things. The first 10 things that I think as a new trader or any traders ought to have as a basic understanding, having the basic attitude that must have for trading, which will definitely help you to basically make or break if you become a successful trader or not. So first one is basically before thinking about trading at all, first I believe, in my honest first personal opinion, is that you need to think long term. Trading is a long-term business. It's not just for for Christmas, so to speak. It's all for one day, and it's basically for me anyway. I will trade until the day I die, until I cannot really move my fingers or haven't got a clean mind. So I'm expecting to trade into my 70s, 60s, 70s. It should be quite normal for men, probably for women, probably in the 80s as well if they want to do that. And this is important because you have a long-term view. Then you're not going to worry too much of today's trade, it didn't turn out well, and or this month trading didn't turn out well because you got years and years of trading experience, and you can basically you stretch your trading career over a long period of time, and that sort of help you set your right mindset and attitude that you only because you're not in a hurry. You are taking a long-term view. You got to take your system trading signal as it comes, and you're not going to basically you're less prone to second guess and try to make things in a hurry, which basically to me is it basic thing down to number 2, the link to number 2. Item number 2 I want to talk about is people out there. Lots of promoters of like forex or shares, whatever, they always like say, which I said before in my other episodes, that it sort of give a false impression that it's a get-rich-quick scheme, or people think that way these days. Nowadays, I don't know why, and think trading is easy. And for me, I think trading is a skill set, and I believe it can be taught to anybody. But it takes time. It really does takes time to learn the trick of the trade, so to speak. It's a bit like riding a bicycle. It takes time to learn, or swimming. It takes time to learn the skill or any other skill set. And if you look at Warren Buffett, he didn't really make his billions now. He made it over last 30, 40 years. There's a consistent, trading habits, and he has good days and bad days, and he had more good days than bad days, and he slowly accumulated money. So it's like 30, 40 years he's been doing that. And a lot of new traders basically just want the green, just want the money, just give me the dough, so to speak, without doing hard work, and it will never work. And this is what I think a lot of traders basically fell flat on the face after a strain of losses, and because they just want to quit. They don't have this long staying power, and this basically goes down to number 3. That's just never quit. If you quit, and basically your trading career is over, and you think things didn't work, but from my experience, the successful people, they have failure just like anybody else. Look at Ray Dalio. Told the world how the stock market is going to be. He put his every penny on it, last penny on it, so to speak, and it was a spectacular failure. He lost everything before he started his Bridgewater hedge fund, and he had to lay off all his stuff and everything else. But he came back and became even better. And now I think his fund is like 10 billion or 20 billion. It's a lot bigger than before, and his personal wealth is much better as well, much greater than before. And this the type of people just never quit, and it's just shows across the board, not only trading. Any successful people in any endeavor, any businesses, they have their bad time and good times, and they never could just keep on pushing, keep on continuing, keep on moving forward, and they don't stop. So this is basically all these three topics, these three items I just talked about. It links together, and it's very important to me anyway. Basically, anyway, and you should always take a long-term view. And the next one is basically you should be more accountable. Think of it that way. You are accountable for the ups and downs of your account. Okay, you may say this: the market does things, and I lose some, I win some sometimes, but ultimately, you are the person who plays the trade, and you're the person who closes out the trade. Same thing, if you miss the trade, you are the one responsible. Because if you think of it this way, if you take responsibility of your trading habits and your trading career and your trading result, then you can change it. Not just, some people from far from country say, they've done something, or some hedge fund did something and moved the market and go against you. The market might look that way, it looks like it's going against you, but at the same time, when things going for you, you think the market's make you great. The market goes back and forth, and it sometimes make you rich, sometimes make you poor, and it's you who is responsible for taking the trade. You have every right to stand aside, not to trade. But as a trader, you come in. Mostly, for all of us, mostly are drawn into trading because of the money. But over time, then it become a skill. It's not just about the money. It's also mainly for the mindset. People out there, is what you're saying, which I understand and I believe as well. 20% is just the trading system. 80% really is the mindset to actually pull the trigger, especially after you have a string of failures. You still pull the next trigger, because you believe, understand your system, and you back tested your system, and you continue taking a trade. A lot of people just, taking a string of 10 losses, they give up. Even 5 or 3, they just stop and say, oh, this thing never works. It's like riding a bicycle, they just fail. I mean, think of it this way. If everybody think this way, and for walking, that if you fall down your ass when you're a baby 10 times and everybody label you a failure and never make you walk again, then I can tell you nobody around the world will be able to walk. Everybody walks because in general our society and the way we brought up as well, every human being walks. The first thing they basically learn from crawling is to walk, and the family, their prospective family, father and mother, encourage them, so is the people around them, the society around them. And so that's why everybody walks. That's one of the things Tony Robbins talks about as well. He gave that examples, and I basically just regurgitate what he says. But it is very true, because the environment, everybody walks, and because everyone encourage you to walk. It's just like driving as well. It's a need as a society, move from A to B. You need it for working or as a job, for transportation, as taxi or driver or whatever. You actually need that, and the environment encourage you to do that. And so this is important. If you this environment things, and also your attitude is correct, and you just don't think you stop after a while. So have to remember that, okay? And basically, the next thing is you need to look at is have a right mindset to think like a casino. The casino out there, and if all the bulbs and lights and everything else, all the lovely show out there, they didn't do that for your entertainment for free. They do that because they have games, probabilistic games, mathematical in their favor. That if they get enough people through the door on a yearly basis, daily and monthly basis, and they take a percentage of the cut, so to speak, and then can pay for all the whistles and bells and lovely buildings and the food and lovely parties that they throw at you, and pay for that and then some. It's not free. All these are not free. And basically, this is what you need to think of, okay? It's important. I mean, what I have talked about in one of my episodes, basically the casinos, I think Sands went to Macau, opened its shops when they expanded the gaming license to other Western countries holder as well. And that's a time when the Chinese basically open the market and let, wait, it's not really open the market, just let people go to Macau and gamble, before they, stop. Mr. Xi came in, President Xi came in and stem on corruption. And people used to, Chinese used to just come in and just go to casino. And Sands opened the shops, and when it's opening, I remember it was on BBC. I saw it. I watched it myself. It's very much like Black Friday sales, in US. People just more or less break the door down, and basically when they go in, they just rush to the table and went there and just try a thing, because in China you're not allowed to gamble. Okay, you may have Hong Kong, but it's not as big and wide things that all different things that you can do in Macau. And then since it's a Western world, Western holder of the gambling license, they have the different games than what they already have, different funds and stuff, fun games and stuff, and they just want to try. And Chinese just like gambling in general. That's not just my belief. And because of the lack of opening, so to speak, in China, so the Chinese come to the Macau and gamble, and went and test out the Sands, basically the gambling resort. And Sands, I think, spent about 100 million or something to build the whole thing, plus the gaming license and everything else. And they recouped the money within 10 months. 10 months, not even a year. Why? Because two things go in the favor. First is they have a system, the games, that is basically have an edge on the house. So they provide, so long people keep on playing, the house is taking more and more money. Secondly, they got volumes. Loads of people going in there, well, Chinese, and taking bets. Some small bets, some large bets, doesn't really matter. Overall, they take a cut of it, and they have the positive edge, and that's their system. And the more people play, the more people come in and play, the more money they make. Same thing in Las Vegas. That's why they have all these different shows and everything else going there. In Las Vegas, people go there, or other gaming company go there, not just to show. They go there because there's a demand for gambling, and people can also make money out of it. That's why they are there. Okay, so don't think that they do that for free. They go there to make money out of you, and so you need to think that way. Think of probabilistically. You have to have a system that is a positive edge, which means that when you play long term, over many hands, the house always end up with more money than the players. That's what you need to think. And secondly is you need to think, how can I keep alive your account so you can continue play and play in the market, taking the next signal from your system again and again and again and again. Okay. And next things is basically, I also talked about this before in other episode. Each trade is basically mutually exclusive. You might get a string of winners and strings of losers, but each one of it is quite meaningless on its own individually. But if you have a positive air system, which like Turtle Trading System 2 has a positive edge, and if you use that for over long term in more than a year, and you see yourself getting lots of making money out of the market. It happens to me. It works, and I test it out, and it works. But you need to think of it this way, like failing and things like that. You need to basically think about you might have each trade might fail. You might have a string of trade fail, but you can in reverse. You also have a string of winnings as well. So this is all, it will all play out. So you need to be comfortable with the patterns. If like you have 10 losses, you need to emotionally able to handle the losses, which is why you want to keep each trade losses as little as possible, 1%. So if you have, basically you need a string of 100 losses. If you risk 1% per trade, 100 trades losses, street losses, to wipe out your account. Probabilistically, it can happen, but so far it haven't happened to me yet, and a lot of other people either. And that's why 1%. But the more you risk, then the higher the chance. Let's say you risk 5%. Straight losses of 20 losses. A string of 20 losses will wipe your account out. So It haven't happened to me yet either, but from what I read about and heard about and other things is, it's possible that people face 15, 16 strict losses until they get the winnings. So it's best to have risk 1%. For especially for new traders, okay, and then basically this leads to the next step is you have to have a system. Basically, give you positive edge, like what I said about casino. You have to have a positive edge system that over a long time give you positive result. That means give you money. So long you play long enough, you give you the money. So this is important. You have to have a positive edge system, and then you need to back test it just to make sure you're happy with it, that you understand it. Don't just take anybody's, but you really need to back test it by doing on the demo account simulations, or doing paper trade yourself using so whatever charts that you have, and just go through the last 5 years data and just use a system that you want to use or strategy you want to use, and just test it out on paper. Just make sure it's happy, and then next use a demo account to basically test it out before you actually use live money. That would then help you to build confidence. And you must take every trade, just like what I said about the casino. First is having a positive edge. Secondly is volumes. So the volume for us as a trader is you must take every trade, every trading signal from your system. No question asked. Because the problem here is you don't know when one of these signals is going to make you lose money, or one of these is going to make you lose lots of money. So risk management is important, which is a separate thing. But so long as you stick to your losses, maximum 1%, no more than 2% per trade, then you will survive a long time, and then be able to play the probability game, basically the law of large numbers, and you make lots of money after that. It happens, okay, but you just need to take time, and this is important to think of, because for me anyway, at the start, I think it happens to most traders, especially those people who has a very good degree. Just my personal opinion, because they believe they used to, doing whatever the teacher says and study well, and if you give the correct answer, and you get a grade, and it works. So you do the correct steps, you get you get the positive result. But one thing though is, people are not taught to handle losses properly from school or from home. A lot of people just give up. This is why I say never quit. You continue to refine your process, and continue. And a lot of people just lose faith in general after 5 losses. I mean, for me, when I first started, every time I lose, I feel gutted. Feel really bad emotionally. I never understand. I could have a string of 10 losses. It's quite possible. Over 100 trades or 200 trades, it can happen. If you just flip a coin, head is tail, head is win, tail is losers. You see all the different patterns. A string of heads and string of tails over time. You do thousands of times. You see that, and you need to be comfortable with that, and comfortable in the sense that you actually see that happening in live trading, and have basically your money on the line, and have 10 straight losses, or 14 or 15 or even 20, and you're still happy to pull the trigger when the next signal comes, and you continue just trade. It's hard, and it only comes about through trading many times, fail many times, and never give up and continue. It takes time. You need that to trade. A training live account to train your mind. It does takes a bit of time. So you need to think of that, okay, that way. And lastly, number 10, basically, I think I mixed some of the two for the other items as well, which I'll talk about next week and about my next episode. This bit, you need to understand this, okay? There is no holy grail. Some system will work some of the time. Other system will work some other time. They all have flaws. they all have failing times. Okay, it's not going to cover all market conditions because nothing out there, as far as I believe, cover all different type of human emotions. And remember, we're trading. Actually, you say you trade prices of a share, or let's say Amazon or Apple. Yes, you're trading the price, and you have mathematical models based on the price, the price and so forth. But behind the scene, you effectively trading human emotion. Loads of people buying Apple, and therefore you go in and buy, and then loads of people, not sure. The share price goes sideways, up and down a bit until they find its feet, or go up or down, and you go in again. You're trading the emotion behind the price. People likes or dislike Apple products. From UK, from US, or from America, from UK, or from Europe, or from China, and all around the world, that kind of thing. And people do they expand to other services? Like they do iTunes, iCloud, all those things. So that's sort of what people in the background is trading against, and everybody make their own bets and things, different sizes and stuff. So all come to the mix, so to speak. And your system will not be able to cover all scenarios. That's my understanding. And so you must stick with your guns, stick with your system, and you must have this understanding, okay? Don't chase systems and think this system, my system A, for example, works 6 months. And then 7-8 months, it doesn't seem to work. And the 9th or 8 months or 10 months, you start to lose faith, and then you stop using it. And then you go to system B, doing the same thing again. System C, doing the same thing again. And then later, by chance maybe, you look at system A, oh, it's making money. While system C I was working on didn't work at the time. System A is making money. I should go back to system A. I did all of that and jump back to system A and find the same old problem again. Sometimes it didn't work, sometimes it works, and I jumped over. And I found, I learned this the hard way, and also read some books about it, and then, the light bulb comes on in my head. It's like, I should stop chasing different systems. No system is perfect. No system is 100% give you guarantee works in all conditions. It's so much like, I go back to self-defense thing, which I like to do. There's no one skill, that, is always top of the world. People might like Thai boxing, but then, people take part of Thai boxing, mix with some Chinese boxing or some European styles or Brazil Jiu-Jitsu, whatever, mix them up, it becomes something else. And they all cover different scenario and doesn't cover everything. You think elbow is very strong, very good, so is punches. And so is, thinking people's eyes with your finger. Or, that sort of thing. There's different way to, what I'm trying to say is different way to do self-defense, just like trading as well. But none of them cover everything. And none of them works forever. And you must think that way. And have that enough understanding and belief in your system to stick with it. And understanding that nothing cover all scenarios. And therefore, when your system doesn't work, so long as you back test it 5 years, 10 years data, and during the back testing you're comfortable with it to use that, you continue. There's nothing to stop you to go back to last year data or this last month data and check. You need a big data sample, let's say last 5 years, including the most recent day from yesterday, for example, and check your data against, see if your math, so to speak, your formula, your strategy is working or not. And if it is, just stick with it. You have to stick with it. It's just market condition at a time that doesn't work, like for trend following. If it's a side trending market, it doesn't work. You get a lot of what we call whipsaw. You get stop out all the time. We call it whipsaw. And it's painful. And that's where all this string of losses is. But if you keep your losses small, when the eventual market turn its head and do a uptrend or downtrend, you trend for a latch on, and providing you pyramid up, do pyramid thing, you can very quickly recover. But the problem is you don't know when the trend's happening, so you have to keep on taking next trade, next signal, trading signal. The problem is you don't know when the market's going to turn, and then make you lose some money. So you have to keep on taking the next trade. So it's very important. Okay, so you need to remember that. I hope this episode is useful. I still got another 10, but it's already quite long episode already for this time. So the next episode, well, probably next week, you will hear the part 2 of the this rule number 4, which is having the correct attitude and mindset. So part 2 will come next week. So stay tuned, and hope you enjoyed this episode, and please listen to my other episodes as well, and subscribe to my podcast channels. Thank you, and see you later. Bye.